Hey, so welcome to another Cardano for Non-Technical session. I'm just going to go straight into sharing my screen. The main thing that I would like to be the focus of this session is maybe not exactly on this one, but to try to start changing our way of working a bit so that it's more interactive and engaging for you guys. So on my screen, I have the document where we've been working from, and we're going to take a look at that one. And I also have my non-technical browser profile. So here I'm just going to open this board where we've been tracking our progress. And yeah, so here, as you know, we have, I'm not sure if you guys are aligned with what I have still, but from the very first sessions, we created an AMI wallet on testnet, on the legacy testnet. And we even created some coins, some tokens to put in here. And on Eternl, we were working on pre-production. So we have it there, where we just got some money from the faucet. And I think I got some tokens from my colleagues from Gimbalabs. So it's one of the things we can pick up today is to share these tokens to each other. Let me just go to my tokens list. There we go. So my colleagues have been getting creative, creating things like NFTs and yeah, weird things. So yeah, so this is what we have to start. Also, like I said, on this sheet, we have the tools that we were working from. So some faucets and some applications. Here, we've been going through a stage of we don't have many things running on pre-production still, but we have some others on testnet. And we're also starting to take a look at some mainnet things. So that's what we have on the tools chart here, the tools sheet. And on the main one, the first one that I mentioned, here we just have each other's wallet addresses and some progress. So I would invite you, for example, I think Wanqing, I don't think you were in the last session. I would invite you to just do it asynchronously, because one of the things I'm starting to think is we could have people coming to the sessions, but we also could have people just orbiting in a broader orbit and doing things asynchronously. So if you can't come, maybe you can just keep updating your cheat as you review content, if you're not doing it hands-on. Okay. So any thoughts on this? Please feel free to unmute yourselves any point if you have any feedback on anything. Okay. So picking up from last session 5, we were looking at why you should delegate, what SPOs do, and we also browse a few tokens on the wallet. And so we went over this if you want to take a look on your own time. What we're going to do today, and I'm not sure if we do have Lucy on, but let me know, okay, if anyone, because I cannot see the participants sheet for now. So one of the things we had missing from the last session is to send tokens to multiple addresses. So maybe we'll leave that one to do in a bit in today's session. One other thing, maybe we can do that immediately, is that when we were doing this work here of browsing tokens in NFT, I think I was showing you this even on my Mainnet wallet. And I know I mentioned to you that I had a music NFT, but I couldn't really demo it at that time. So maybe just to recap, I'm going to open my journal as well. Just give me a second to mask values on it. And so today we're going to see both on the NFT market and on my wallet. It's slightly or considerably different presentation. Just waiting for it to load for a sec. And there we go. Okay, so I have some NFTs here that I got from TapTools, if I'm not mistaken. And this is something that I would love to work with you in the future. So just as a recap for someone who, I don't know if Nishan was here last session, not sure.
I
Um,
think I was, yeah.
you were, yeah?
Yeah.
So like I said, the same way that on my pre-production wallet, I have some addresses that my colleagues have been sent. I have some tokens that my colleagues have been making as developers. They were minting this and etc. On Mainnet, I have these ones that I got from TapTools. These are real tokens, like Hosky is like Doge in Cardano or something like that. Um, we have Charles here as well. So these are particular projects by individual people, not by Charles, obviously. And I also have these two. So if I click on this one, for example, it's just like grunge music or punk music or something. It's actually quite electronic as well. And I saw these details here. So what I wanted to build on this is to show you the same thing, but on the marketplace. So here you see a bit like these guys is asking for 30% royalties. If you, for example, I got this for pennies, like very, very like cents of ADA, and I got all of this. But now if I want to sell it, so this is how he's promoting himself. He gives it away to people, but now if I want to sell it for 10 ADA, he's going to get 3 ADA. And if I like the music and like here you have the two options. You can see the image or the audio, and immediately it's going to get the image, sorry, in this case, the audio, which here we can see it a bit more technical. That's this file in IPFS. Remember when we minted an NFT on Game Changer? I also explained that the image is going onto the IPFS, which is a blockchain for files, to store files. Um, so yeah, so this is the more user-friendly presentation of the marketplace, where now I'm not seeing the image because I toggled this to audio there. And if you probably can't hear it because I'm not sharing my sound, let me just try to reshare my screen. Ricardo was actually one of the people that uh, taught me how to share screens with sound. I need to share sound. Very self-explanatory. There's a little tick box and optimize for video clip. So now, hopefully, never let me go. Right here in your arms is where I want to be. It's basically some music, original music that this guy did. Doesn't sound very funk or grunge. Yeah, you could hear it. Yeah. Hello. Guys, are you there?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Don't just. I would really like if you just unmute and talk to me, because otherwise I just don't want to be doing a one way presentation here. So okay, I'm going to share it again. Okay, so this is basically the NFT shown on the marketplace, and now because I own this one, if I connect my Eternl wallet, I need to come there and plug it in. So I have all these different wallets. I'm just going to make this one connect to the browsing part of the Eternl, and here I can just refresh, I think. And connect. So there it's saying, it's showing me the option to make an offer as if I wanted to buy it. But because I own it, it should show me the option to place it in the market, which I don't think it is doing for now. Maybe I'm not on the right account there. One thing that we do have there is the accounts. So this is the account I have activated. Not sure why it's not allowing me to put it on the market. Maybe I have to go through my portfolio of things to place it on the market. But okay, so this was just the introduction of the NFT part. Now, coming back to things that we have from the past session, there's just this reference here. We were taking a start about this. Is this something that you guys are using on Mainnet at all? Or are you guys not on Mainnet at all for now?
Not necessarily on Mainnet doing anything sort of, serious, just delegating and stuff.
Okay, okay. Do you have a Mainnet address for now or not yet? Is this something that you guys would like to start having, like even like 10 euros or something, or 10 pounds of Cardano on Mainnet?
Well, for Cardano's, we do have like our own account on Mainnet, as well as I do have like my personal account. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
I also have one.
Okay, I imagine Ricardo does. He's a bit more senior on this. Thanks. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. Now, yeah, so I think what we probably are going to start doing is in this links and tools thing. Where is it? There. In this links and tools sheet, we're probably going to start including a bit more mainnet things and eventually showing you a bit more. Not just, this was more about the JPEGs, but I'll probably be transporting this type of thing like DEXs and stuff, because we cannot really test this on pre-production. But let's talk about that in a sec when we talk about our resources. Now, for today, this was the announcement that I did in the beginning of the session. This is something that we've already done. We've connected to JPEG.store. If I connect to CNFT, it's another marketplace. And since I have my Eternl already set up to share this specific account where I have my NFTs, maybe I'll be able to show you how they look on a second market. These sites are not often very efficient. As you can see, there's little glitches here and there. I'm going to try to connect my Eternl. This is common as well, so it's not a signature for a transaction. It's just yeah. It's just giving access to my address. I was just hesitating because I'm not used to putting my password there. Sometimes it asks for it, but you can really see the details. So here you see what I was meaning to show you just before. Again, we have a glitch here about one of the NFTs that I have, but I am authorized, I have the option to sell the asset, and I could really just say, okay, I want to sell it for 10 ADA. Here there's a service fee that goes to the marketplace website. And if I click this, what I would be doing is like signing a transaction where I'm going to send my NFT to this platform. It's going to be locked there. And in case someone buys it, it's going to go forward to that person. If not, I can maybe unlist it. I'm not really that experienced here, but I think this is interesting for you to see a bit more. Like I said, instead of just working with wallets back and forth, there's these platforms for the NFTs, and there are the DEXs that we took a quick look, I think, in the last session. So yeah, any questions so far? One thing about that I'm noticing between the two is that here there's the 30% royalties being enforced, and here for some reason I don't see that so far. Maybe it's implicit, but there's something here to say about the NFTs and the rules. Sometimes we promote Web3 as royalties are very, very enforceable forever, but sometimes NFTs are mostly these royalty rules are being enforced on the store level and not so much on the blockchain level. Okay, so I'm just going to close this for now. Yeah, so we saw this a bit. Yeah, we saw this one as well. So in my portfolio. Now, going straight to a bit of practical hands-on part here. One thing that we left from the previous session, like I said here, was that we were looking at this. And like I said, I have some tokens there. You can see Wanxing is updating his, thank you so much. This way we can sort of like do a gamification of progressing against each other. So like I'm saying, we had these 3 people on the session last time, and so I was getting their addresses here to send it, and then I couldn't do it. But it took me just a few minutes, and I hope I can do it now. I'm gonna add in Wanxing. Do you still have the same address that you brought from testnet?
Yes, I do have the address.
Yeah. So you imported it on Eternl like we did on the session? Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna use the same address that you had on testnet, and I'm gonna paste it in there. It's done. Thanks. So if I wanted to check, I would just click here, and I could see the contents of your wallet because we're using the Block Explorer links to do that. So I can see that you literally just have the 10,000 test ADA. And by the way, one thing that's misleading here is that it's showing you 20 as flow and everything, because every time you do an operation on it, like we saw, you're sending a UTxO, which is a balance, gets sent and sent back to you. That's why it's showing you as if you've received 20, because when we did the delegation, which I think was, so here you got it, and here we just spent this fee because we were delegating something. It's not very transparent on this Block Explorer, but that's this is when we did that delegation of the mining for the stake pool. Right, so, okay. So what I'm gonna do today is change my gears a bit. Ricardo, if you want, I'm happy to have you here as well. And you can let me know what you've revised of our sessions. So I'm just gonna switch this and send to these 3 people. So I'm gonna paint you in pink, and let's go. So on here, if I go to the send, I need to focus here for a sec now. I think we basically need to use this thing. And the UI is not the greatest one, but you see here we have input selection and add outputs. Okay, so because we are used to doing simple sends, which is just, okay, I can even go from an address book. I don't think I have any for now, but this is something that we could play with a bit, because Eternl allows you to have an address book. I think I have them here just to demo, where you can have your favorite addresses, or even you can sort of use it to document all the addresses that you have interacted with. And okay, so here, for example, if I go to my transactions list, yeah, it's really just too technical. I'm sorry. You see there, min swap. Yeah, but it's a bit not so user-friendly. So yeah, just coming back to this, instead of using the simple functionality of send, we're going to use the TxBuilder. And to do that, it's interesting to understand that we're going to have inputs to our transaction, and we're going to add outputs to our transaction. The guys here have a button where we can donate, I think, to Eternl. So what are we going to be putting into our transaction? We're going to be putting in UTxOs. So UTxOs is like what I've been calling the balances that we keep receiving. And so if I go, here we have the summary that we've been looking at. By the way, there's the delegation history that we've been setting up on the past sessions, and we should have a chart there. So on the account summary, if I switch it to tokens, this is something we've seen so far as well, but these are all the tokens that are available to my address, but they are not like literally just on the address. They are being stored in the blockchain in the form of UTxOs. So UTxO stands for unspent transaction TX output. And if I take a look at it this way, I have 6 UTxOs, which is like, it's a bit like fragmenting the balances that I see here, all pretty and joined together. Here I have it in UTxO. So in reality, I received this, which had this from a person. I received, because my colleagues from Gimbalabs have been sending me things. You see all the tokens that I see there. So Uli was my colleague. She sent me this number of Uli tokens, and that's in one of these UTxOs, one of these ADA bubbles of balance. So that's just, this is all just to say that I'm going to have to pick these things to put into my transaction, and then I'm going to select your addresses there, the pink ones, to put them as outputs. Okay. So coming back to the send screen, use the TxBuilder. When I go to input selection, this is what you see. Okay, that's why I wanted to contextualize things a bit. I'm going to look for my main UTxO where I have the bulk of my ADA. So that's this one. This one is my oldest UTxO, let's say, where I have the main balances. And I don't need to worry so much about all the accountancy of all these balances, because there's going to be what we can call a change account, where a change output, I say, where everything that I send in extra that I don't want to put into specific outputs for you guys is going to come back to my address. So I'm going to start by adding this one, which is an input where I have a lot of ADA to pay for fees. And because if I send you some tokens, those tokens are going to need to be sort of wrapped in a bit of ADA. So I need plenty of ADA in my transaction. And that's why I'm going to put in this UTxO as an input. Then I'm going to be sending you guys, let's keep it simple. So let's just pick one of these or two of these tokens. And let me just go back and cancel this for a second to choose what I want to send to you first. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So let's send this one, which is pretty. I don't remember who sent it to me. So let's send like 100 bliss to each of my recipients and 100 ulis. Okay. And so let's go for it. Apart from that, I'm not going to be sending, maybe I can send you like 5 ADA, 100 of this one, 100 of this one. Okay. Let's go again to the send, TxBuilder, input selection. So now I'm going to add my bulk thing because it's going to come back to me if I don't use it. I have my ulis in there already. And we spoke of sending the bliss ones. So here, Eternl is a bit tricky as well because it has pagination. So this is page 1. I'm going to switch to page 2. And here I have my bliss. So, okay, so I added 3 UTxOs, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to press save. And you can see there, oh no, I added 2. So ADA, ULI, and bliss. All of this is going to go as an input into my transaction. And now I'm going to construct my outputs. So here, I'm going to add one shing, enter receive address. Here's what I'm mentioning, what I mentioned that I can create an alias for it. So because I can't really maybe type your name, I had to copy it there. And so now it's sort of facilitating my view where I know from here on, especially because we're using single address wallets, we made sure that our Eternl is working in single address. I can just go and do that. And so this is the, okay, this is just giving me an option if I wanted to articulate with my own account. So I'm going to ignore this part here. And so for launching, next, I'm still constructing a UTxO output, build the output by entering the receiver address, amount of ADA, and optional tokens. Okay, so I have the funds here. I'm going to add 5 ADA, and I have the option. This is similar when you're already used to working with Eternl. This is very similar to the single send interface where by default, it is just talking to me about ADA. But if I want to add tokens, I come here. And now you see it's only showing me the tokens that I have in my inputs. It's not showing me all my wallet. So I'm going to add 100 ULI. And I need to press add for it to go up there, I think. So one asset. And I'm going to add the star token as well. And I'm going to press add. Okay, so 2 assets. And the quantities are represented there. We have just 10 minutes for our session. And add. So now we have Huangxing's as output there. The same 2 inputs and just 1 output. I'm going to crack on doing the second one. So Lucy's address. Where do I add the second output? There. Enter receive address. Add it to bookmarks. I'm just going to put it here, Lucy. Okay. So this is the recipient's address screen. I'm going to press next. 5 ADA as well. Add tokens. Then 100 ULI. So you see that the interface here is just showing me how much I have. 1, this number, this number. Here it's already saying I'm going to send 100 out of this number. And it's already deducting, I think, the previous ones. There. And that's it. So now I have 2 outputs. It's not showing me your names here. It's just showing me the addresses. And again, here I press to add an output, the third output. It's going to be Nishan with this address. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to press the bookmark icon to name it. And press next. I'm going to send him 6 ADA just to be different. And I'm going to add tokens to my transaction, to my output, where I have 99 ULIs and 101 Bliss. So press add there, press add here, and press add to put the output into the transaction. So you see, here we have like it's not a smart contract transaction, it's not a very complicated one, but it's a great way of knowing that you have the UTxOs coming in as inputs, and you have the outputs. Because we're on testnet, let's try this button here. So I'm going to donate like 9 test ADA, Eternl donation. So it's just a feature of them. And that's it. Now, why can't I do the next part there? Ricardo, do you have ideas about this?
No, to be honest, I've never used this transaction builder in the past.
I sort of tried using it, but yeah, it's quite complicated. So
Do I need to add a change or something? Okay, let's try to add an output. Enter accounts, total funds. It would be weird if I had to do this, but yeah, no, this is a bit weird. Okay, probably I'm going to need to figure this one out on outside of the call. I'm going to have to get back to you on the next session about how we move forward from this, but I'm pretty sure there's a way. I just don't want to be spending more time today on you know, troubleshooting it in our call. So I'm just going to minimize this and I'll get back to you on the next session, because I also wanted to talk to you about an interesting thing. So for the last 5 minutes, I have here some notes about, so we did this part, sort of. One thing that we could do in our next sessions is to import our wallet into an Android device. I've had my phone here for 2 sessions ready to do this. And I really wanted to take the last few minutes to work on this part with you. So as you've probably seen, I've started putting in a lot of things here. I'm trying to separate it as practical things, research and education, where we have a lot of things. I was enriching this a bit today about DAOs and demos and etc. So apart from all the backlog that you can see there, I still have this section here called further ideas for this initiative. And the main one that I wanted to run by you today is this Miro idea. So are you familiar with Miro? Have you worked with it?
Nope.
No?
is it Miro board or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know it. Yep.
Okay. By the way, I think we just have like 3 minutes. So if it's starting to get to 2 minutes, 1 minute, let me know. Okay. So what I'm probably going to do I'm going to draft a board where instead of having all this complexity of contents here, where we have the research part, or so like a demo part of something and some practical activities that come out of it. So instead of having this all in a top to bottom document, I think we could do like a matrix of things with pipelines and columns and things. We could drag things around like in post-its, and you could even vote on them asynchronously. So just to give you an idea, this is Miro, and I would invite you to come to miro.com and register an account, because probably during this week, I'm going to send you a link for a Miro board. And the only thing about Miro is that you either log in with Google and always log in with Google, or you log in with email password and you always do that. Don't mix both. Otherwise, you end up like me, running it on an incognito browser because my usual browser is really erroring or something. So quick example, this is something I'm doing with the Cardano builders, which is like an incubator of initiatives. And we're just going around throwing our things here, and then we can multiply the boards. And I hope, I was imagining that you guys were doing this like in Oxford or something, because it's very common today, nowadays. So
Yeah, I used it for my Oxford interview.
yeah. So here we have the way of connecting. So here we're putting strengths, weaknesses, etc. And then here we can relate, and we know that this one is coming out of the other two. This is something that I was watching yesterday, where this guy, it's a bit slow. My computer is being slow. Yeah, this board is a bit heavy as well. So if I click here, it's going to take me through the boards. So for example, we were doing this type of presentation, and in the end, we could do sort of voting and reaction. So it's this type of thing that I'm thinking of doing with our contents. And also there's the BLC, which is the Blockchain Learning Center. And I'm probably going to try to do a partnership with them because they have these infographics already created for what is a DEX, for a number of things. And probably this is their working environment where they're building these resources, but I'm going to try to articulate with them for us to start using this type of resources. So I don't want to reinvent the wheel. And for me, as you know, this is sort of an experiment project. So this is why I'm going to ask you to create a Miro account. And probably I'm going to share something like this, where I'm going to take this type of content so that we can vote on asynchronously. Okay.
Yep, that sounds good.
Yep. Okay, so we just have 40 seconds. I hope you liked the session, although it wasn't very interactive again. The challenge for the next session during the week, we need to vote a bit on our things so that we can have the most practical session we can come up with next week. I don't want to be presenting anything ideally. You guys start being brave. So for example, Lucy, I was talking about sharing a wallet that she's been using, Typhoon, I think. And so let's try to work asynchronously to put things on the menu so that next session I am sitting in and you guys are like doing things a bit more. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sorry about the
Thank you very much for
Yes, thank you
inviting.
so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye bye. Have a nice